Good morning. Let's take a look at yesterday. In the Veikkausliiga, disappointing performance from Jarrow, who did score first, so no real trading angle there. And into Turku decided to score a goal. Where were they when we laid the draw in the last match with that missed penalty, the bar stewards? KFUM Oslo, a great example of a red card trade. Bryn, I think about the 65th minute red. Look for the reaction post 65th minute. It arrived from Oslo. Look also for the momentum graph if you've got an in-place stat scanner. Ticking all the boxes and we get that equaliser we deserved. Sarpsborg winner as well. Excellent stuff from them. Right at the beginning of the second half, so you didn't have to wait for too long for your first cash out. 46th minute. 3-1. As emphatic as we expected, really. That was the scoreline that tends to come up when Haugesund are meeting the big boys. The Allsvenskan bitterly disappointing yesterday. Both AIK and Elfsborg failing to score that second goal. This was even more gutting because I should have told you in play that when you get an opportunity like this, or not an opportunity, when you get a match like this where you've laid over 1.5 goals and you've backed Elfsborg +1, at any stage you can cash out for a break even. That avoids this 93rd minute, last kick of the match scenario. So do remember that in the future. If you've laid over 1.5 goals and gone into the +1 market rather than the match odds market, +1 covers the draw, you see. It's the equivalent of laying Hacken. So if you've gone in the +1 market, you can get out at any stage by cashing out of both markets, the +1 and the lay of over 1.5 goals. Hope that makes sense. Another way, because this is a frustrating scoreline, particularly when this happens, 93rd minute. You can compensate for this, or you can hedge it by using both teams to score no. This is, of course, an illiquid match, which is on at the moment, just as an example to you. But both teams to score no, particularly when an underdog has scored first and early, it's going to be pretty juicy odds. Very good for hedging. What both teams to score no covers is 0-1, 0-2, 0-0, 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, etc., etc. So that covers the 0-2. Do bear that in mind in the future. And if you do go both teams to score no, you're looking to win the amount of money you want to use. So if you've got something like Fairbot, you'll be clicking on the profit box here. You're looking to win the amount of money you want to spend. Now, this is not a market I would play, Crown Legacy and Orlando, but you'd back like that to win 40 quid. Then you go to the correct score 2-1 market for the underdog, and you'd back that as well to win 40 quid. That way you've got the 0-2 and the 1-2 covered for the underdog leading 0-1. Does that make sense? Both teams to score no covers the 0-2. That would have compensated you for both matches. Very, very disappointed because I do my due diligence. I look at the stats, and the stats are pointing to an increasing generation of corners for both AIK and the other side. Just disappointing that they can't follow it up. Corner count here 8-2, for example. I think the corner count was more telling in the other match. So let's see if we can get to that one. Elfsborg and Hacken. The reason I stayed in and didn't employ my get out of jail break even was because of the Elfsborg corner count. If you go to it, 12 shots as well, but only 3 on target. 16 corners. It's just huge pressure, consistent pressure on their goal. And the fact they couldn't conjure up a goal from that, 9 shots inside the box as well. I like the inside the box stats as well. That's pressure, that and the corners. That's why I stayed in. Just done by a late goal. Very, very disappointing indeed. As far as the tennis is concerned, yesterday we're starting to get the better players, of course, deeper in. That makes the trading a little bit more difficult. Look at Karen Kachanov, though. He's got a bit bored of coming from 2 sets down to win 3-2. So he decided to do it all in one lump. And off we go. Taylor Fritz is through. Watch out for him in the next round. He'll have a well-deserved rest after a couple of 5-setters. Thompson, the mullet, is no longer at Wimbledon. I salute the Thompson mullet and all it has done for us this week. Cameron Norrie and Jarry, exactly what you expect of a 1.8 and evens. Very good from Cameron Norrie, but slipping up disappointingly in the 3rd and 4th sets. You could have taken Cameron Norrie on if you fancied it, given the fact his 2nd set was a tiebreaker, possibility of Jarry having to win the 3rd set to stay in the match, and it was an even Stevens match as well. Rublev won the 1st set against Alcaraz, but not to be. And in the ladies' game, there was not much doing from a trading perspective there. Having a look at today's football, and it is a little bit of a horror show, to be honest with you. A day off for me on a Monday, thankfully. KTP against Gnistan. Gnistan coming off the back of a recent tonking by KUPS. Norrkoping against Bromma. You can look at the Norrkoping match already, and it makes limited appeal. 2.45 the favourite. So it's probably not a good day for football trading today. But let's have a look at KTP and Gnistan a little closer. Only 2 wins, plays only 5 defeats. KTP's only 2 wins have come against the one team. I think it's Jarrow, beating them home and away. So it's really poor form for the home side. Gnistan, as I say, coming off the back of that tonking, but only 5 defeats. They are a tough side to beat, albeit they do pick up quite a few draws. So your slant in the Veikkausliiga at 4 o'clock is with the away side on that form, only the 5 defeats. Any neutral plays there? Let's have a look. Four losses and a draw in 5 at home, plays 6 consecutive defeats. Neutral angles, very late, lay the draw for Bromma, and a strong both teams to score angle for Norrkoping. Those would be the angles. Lay the draw would be the best neutral play there, wouldn't it? So not a very good appealing coupon today. Only the 2 matches, thankfully, a day off for me. Looking at the Wimbledon, Marin Cilic, isn't it amazing to see him fight back and get where he's got so far? Against Kaboli, 1.91. You'll be looking at that Cameron Norrie match yesterday as a template for a possible 5-setter today. This is your archetypal even Stevens, isn't it? 1.91 both players. That's the bookmakers over round, because they always want to rob you blind, of course. So you're expecting a 5-setter, Cilic and Kaboli. Let's have a look at how these 2 have progressed. Is there any patterns to their sets at the moment? Head to head. So Marin Cilic not conceded that 2nd set yet and beaten some really big names. Well, Jack Draper exemplified there. Top 6 Jack Draper. Britain's hope for Wimbledon. So a huge result for Marin Cilic there. And he followed that up against Munir with a 3-1. Kaboli, 24th in the world. Hasn't dropped a set yet. And he played Pennington Jones as well. My bloody goodness. Pennington Jones, 3-0 down. It's just not a done thing, you know. Who has he played, though? What kind of rankings opponents has he played? 17th, Mensik, beaten 3-0. Very impressive from Kaboli. That's why it's 1.91 the favourite. You've got 2 players who haven't conceded that 2nd set yet. This could be the day where they concede at least Kaboli concede to set at least, I would expect today. Very impressive from both players, very difficult to unpack. Marin Cilic obviously retaining all of the form we know him for. De Minaur against Novak. This is going to be tighter than 1.17. I would never be backing Novak Djokovic at a 5-setter at 1.17. Those are just far too short. Against old Hitler haircut, De Minaur. He is a very decent Australian player. Gritty. There's the old Hitler haircut there. Fantastic stuff. 11th in the world as well. This is going to be far too tight for a 1.17 pre-match back. He'd be howling Mad Murdoch to back Novak like that. He may cruise through 3-0, but I don't expect it. I expect De Minaur to be a pain and potentially take a set or two off Novak. So if the market's anywhere near 1.17, well, certainly I'll be interested in that. What odds is Novak at the off? 1.21. So I'd like to get a little bit shorter than 1.21 for Novak today if I'm going to be laying him at the off. You can get shorter odds, for example, if he can break early or if he wins the first set. But he's certainly going to be laid by me at some point, particularly if he's leading by 2 sets. Shelton and Sonego. So we've got a lot of Italians remaining. That's a very notable. 3 Italians remaining out of 8 players. Shelton and Sonego, I don't have a strong opinion on that one. And Yannick Sinner against Grigor Dimitrov, 1.03 is far too dismissive of Grigor Dimitrov, who is a pretty handy player. So Yannick Sinner has to be laid at the off. Let's have a look at the odds compared to the odds that you see at Tennis 24 for Yannick Sinner. 1.06, so double what you see here. These are the bookmakers' odds, of course. That's why you're getting robbed blind. Yannick Sinner, eminently layable. Any player under 1.08 in a Grand Slam got to be laid. And Grigor Dimitrov is no mug, let's be honest. Come on. 21st in the world, for goodness sake. Yannick Sinner, not going to be cruising 3-0. It would surprise me if he did make it a 4th consecutive 3-0. Dimitrov, he's been excellent. And that beating of Corentin Moutet as well is an eye-catcher. So I'd be looking forward to this one. Taking on Yannick Sinner. This should not be a 3-0 for him yet again. In the ladies' game, Towson got rid of our old pal Heather Watson, didn't she? She's playing Iga Swiatek today, though. Iga Swiatek, very reliable if conceding the first set. That's what I would say with that one. Lots of Belarusians. Is it Belarusians? Alexandrova, Samsonova, Andreeva. Belarus or Ukraine flag, I'm not too sure, but superb to see one country bringing all of those players together this late in the tournament. I don't have any strong opinions in the ladies' game. Suffice to say, we've got 4 odds-on favourites who should give us an angle if the underdogs score first, or score the first set first, if you understand. Have a great day today. It is my day off. You're unlikely to be hearing from me. I've got a lot of work lined up today, doing all sorts. And hopefully, if the rain stays the way it is, rainy season, I'll be heading off to a beach cafe with the old laptop. It'll be a lovely day. Champions League begins tomorrow. Is this why KUPS failed to score in 5 of the last 7 matches? This brewing in the back of their mind. Malmo, KUPS, Noah park the arc in front of the goal and they'll never score. Viking, no, that's not Viking. The New Saints from Wales. So we've got some familiar names. Levadia from Estonia, but the big names Malmo and KUPS. So we're going to have the Europa League and Europa Conference League, I would suggest, as well. Early on, it's very difficult to unpack these so early in the season, isn't it? But there are trading angles available, particularly via the in-play stats. It's difficult to weigh up teams, though, particularly if you're coming from Georgia and Sweden. How on earth do you weigh up the teams relative to each other. So that's something to think about. Fluminense and Chelsea continuing to flog the dead horse that is the FIFA World Club Cup. Get some more money out of them fans, because we haven't got enough out of you. Lots and lots of friendlies today, and lots and lots of familiar names. Cork City against Celtic, for example, at 7 o'clock would catch my eye. That could be a great match to watch in Cork, where my mother was born. I'm an Irish citizen. I would love to go back to the Emerald Isle one day. So some familiar names, but you're flirting with disaster if you rely on friendlies for your profit. In-play stats will have to be important. Don't forget the whole second half team is probably completely different to the first half team. But the Celtic Cork match is certainly an eye catcher today. Celtic very rarely lose in these pre-seasons against Irish opponents. They meet quite a few of them. I think it was Sligo Rovers, last year. Carlisle against Motherwell, you'd always favour the English side against the Scottish side, but depending if they're in their relative leagues. But not much, and I don't think I'll be touching any of this football today. Some familiar names up there. Lille from France against Ghent B as well. Have a great day. Only the 2 matches. Plenty of football. Plenty of tennis. If I am up and about for the tennis, I'll pass them on Telegram. And don't forget those compensations for those 0-2s. Both teams to score no with a 2-1 cover to the underdog. That will get you out of jail if we get what happened yesterday. Second option, when you're playing in the +1 market with insurance, at any stage between the first goal and full time while it remains 0-1, you can get out of both markets and you will effectively get a break even. The loss you make on one market will be compensated by an equal profit in another market. So do remember that. These 0-2s are hugely frustrating, but they can be compensated for. Have a great day, and I'll see you again tomorrow for the Champions League.